Incorporating vintage elements into modern interior design is a great way to create a unique and timeless space. Here's how you can blend the old with the new. 1. Choose a focal point. Start by selecting a vintage piece that will serve as the focal point of the room. This could be an antique mirror, a retro sofa, or a classic chandelier. Build the rest of the room's design around this piece. 2. Mix vintage and modern furniture. Combine vintage furniture with modern pieces to create a balanced look. For example, pair a mid-century modern coffee table with a contemporary couch. The contrast between styles can make your space feel both dynamic and cohesive. 3. Incorporate vintage textiles. Use vintage textiles like rugs, cushions, or curtains to add warmth and character to your space. Look for unique patterns, textures, and colors that complement your modern decor. 4. Use vintage art and decor. Incorporate vintage artwork, photographs, or decorative items like vases, clocks, or sculptures. These pieces can add a personal touch and a sense of history to your space. 5. Repurpose old items. Get creative by repurposing vintage items into something new. An old trunk can become a coffee table, or vintage suitcases can be stacked to create a nightstand. This not only adds charm but also makes your space more functional. 6. Balance colors and materials. When mixing vintage and modern elements, pay attention to colors and materials. Use a neutral palette to ensure that vintage pieces don't overpower the space. Incorporate materials like wood, metal, and glass to tie everything together. 7. Incorporate vintage lighting. Vintage lighting fixtures can make a bold statement in a modern room. Consider installing an antique chandelier, retro pendant lights, or vintage table lamps to enhance the ambiance. 8. Layer different eras. Don't be afraid to layer elements from different eras. A Victorian-era chair can look stunning alongside a minimalist modern table. The key is to find a common theme or color that ties the pieces together. 9. Add vintage accessories. Accessorize your space with vintage items like old books, vintage clocks, or retro radios. These small touches can make a big impact and help blend the vintage and modern elements seamlessly. 10. Keep it simple. Finally, remember that less is more. Avoid cluttering your space with too many vintage items. Choose a few key pieces that complement your modern design and let them shine. By thoughtfully incorporating vintage elements into your modern interior design, you can create a space that is both stylish and full of character.